I'd like to call the Mentor City Council regular meeting of Tuesday, April 18th, 2017 to order. Oh, the invocation will be given by Councilman Landig.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this day. Help us use good judgment for the business at hand and guide us in wisdom with a continuing sense of truth and fairness for the community we represent.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Here.
Mr. Marne?
Here.
Mr. Blake?
Here.
Mr. Donovan?
Here.
Mr. Dowling?
Here.
Mr. Kirchner?
Here.
Mr. Krieger?
Here.
I would also like to ask anyone to power off any cell phones or other devices at this time. And before we go into the approval of minutes, I wanted to welcome Caleb Bednarski. He's a scout, and he's here to do his citizenship badge. So he has requested a summary of our city budget, which Mr. Malinowski has courteously agreed to provide. So we will get that for you. Thank you for coming. Okay, approval of minutes of the regular meeting, April 4th, 2017.
So moved. Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Okay, public hearings. Resolution number 17-R-108.
A resolution approving with modifications the application of Deborah L. Quivola for the placement of farmland in an agricultural district, to wit, approximately 35.80 acres of land located on Lakeshore Boulevard.
I need to call the public hearing for the resolution number 17-R-108 to order, and this hearing is being held pursuant to notice published and posted according to law. Ken?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Trout, please.
Thank you, Mr. Flipiak. Members of Council, you have a brief staff report before you that summarizes this agricultural district renewal. For those that I've had the pleasure of serving with for a number of years, you'll note that this is the fourth or fifth time this district has been renewed. And what it basically does, as the staff report points out, is to hold in abeyance any assessments that may be due for such improvements as water, sewer, or electrical service for the duration that this project is in that the designation is active at such time as the property would be developed or the agricultural district would no longer be applicable. Those assessments would then become due and payable. If there are any questions, I'll do my best to answer. Thank you.
Okay. We have one person that wants to speak at this point in favor. Deborah Quivola.
Hi, I'm Deborah Quivola, and 5 years flies. I can't believe I'm back here already. And 2 minutes, I know it's nice out. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I don't know. So I own the parcel at 8400 Lakeshore Boulevard, and it's a 35-acre parcel, and it has trees and forests. I don't know if you've ever driven by it. It has a tree farm sign out front. That's a special forestry designation that we earned maybe 8 years ago. There aren't many of them around, especially in the Mentor area, but there are a few in Lake County. Chapter 929, that's what this is up here. Not that you can see it, defines what agricultural production is, and that's the basis for putting a parcel into an agricultural district. And I'm just going to read that paragraph of what the definition is, leaving out a couple things that don't apply to my farm. An agricultural district includes the production for commercial purpose of timber, field crops, fruits, vegetables, nursery stock, ornamental shrubs, ornamental trees, flowers, the growth of timber for non-common purpose, if the land is where the timber is grown contiguous to or part of the parcel of land under common ownership that is otherwise devoted exclusively to agricultural use. Any combination of production or growth, and includes the processing, drying, storage, and marketing of agricultural products when these activities are conducted in conjunction with such production or growth. All of these apply to my farm, except for the ones I crossed out. We don't have animal husbandry. We don't grow tobacco. We don't do sod. But everything else we do takes place on my parcel. Everything else listed here as the definition of agricultural production. As you may know, Lake County is known for its tremendously rich soil, and this parcel in the last 100 years has been an onion farm. It's been a Christmas tree farm, maybe longer than some of us have been alive, especially some of Caleb back there, for sure. 65 years ago when my family bought it, it became a strawberry farm. Today, in the last 10 years, we have sold over 200 trees for timber. You may have seen big lumbering trucks leaving the area and wondering, where did all those trees come from? That's part of being in the forestry management program, is managing trees as they get to age, doing something useful with them like timber. We also do pumpkins, blueberries, and corn and tomatoes as our main crop, and we're heading towards moving into the nursery type production. It's a little more friendly than fighting with the animals and the pests, the bugs, and all that. I'm the old farmer, and in my parcel, the new generation is emerging. They don't like to be called farmers anymore, but I have a plant biologist who takes numerous seeds and is able to grow them from, trees, conifers, deciduous. You wouldn't believe pineapples, fruits, all kinds of wild things, testing out to see what our next niche market's going to be. This 15-year-old is also my beekeeper. We haven't had bees in a good 10 years, but they're back. So better pollination for us. Why is it important to keep this parcel in the agricultural district? To me, it's important to our families and nature in our area. We began tapping maple syrup within the last 5 years. Although it's not for sale now, I have 25 maple trees sitting in pots waiting to go in for this next generation to take over and produce maple syrup with. Keeping this parcel in agricultural district helps it remain a farm, helps it remain a forest, and allows us to continually adapt to the needs of the community. And it benefits the community in some ways you probably haven't thought about. So I have a couple props. We participate in the Mentor City Parade.
All right.
Okay, that's just from the last 5 years, and there's a couple more that have gone to other functions that we've helped, like Boy Scouts have won a few. Marsh Creek Farm also supports baseball, basketball. You'll see a lot of these going around, so we support community teams. Lake County Soil and Water District, Cleveland National Museum History. We are trying to get rid of these, and I'm leaving seeds in this room. We're eradicating these in Mentor, and this parcel is part of that eradication. And I didn't know there was going to be a Boy Scout in this room, but forestry, farm mechanics, fish and wildlife, insect study, nature. It's just some of the Boy Scout merit badges that we teach on this parcel. Boy Scouts also camp here. We do everything organically. We don't let chemicals and pollutants go into the stream. Marsh Creek, aka Marsh Creek Farm, Marsh Creek goes through the banks of this property. We have a natural area for rainbow trout breeding. So a lot of spawning, lots of eggs, very important to this area. We participate with the city in the deer population control. We are nature. We're not a development. Once the farm is developed, you can't get back the herons, the eagles, the owls, and the things that live on this farm, and its adjacent forest. We contribute fresh, local, organic produce to the area, and we like to do things like agro-tourism, where we invite the family to pick their own pumpkins and keep the family involved in not only these ways, but actually eating and picking freshly grown organic items. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you. Very informative. Thank you.
Yes.
My pile of stuff out of here. This is a blueberry bush. I think Julie probably gets it because she does all the work up there, right? But you guys can figure that out. It's only 2 years old, so keep it in the pot for a couple years before you plant it. and
How sweet.
we have these for sale.
Mr. President, question for the law director. It is amazing that it's been 5 years already. It seems like 2 maybe. But wasn't there talk of the state and getting together the counties and all 88 counties and making this a longer exemption than having to do this every 5 years?
I'm
And
not aware of that.
Wasn't it supposed to be changed though?
I'm not
Because
aware
they were
of that.
promoting. No, nothing.
That's one I'm not aware of. The one thing I can tell you I'm aware of
Mm-hmm.
is that this is going to be a tough act to follow.
Yes.
I'd be leaving right now.
Well, it just seems that with
I really don't
changes in
recollect that.
going green, and I know there was talk of it years ago, but okay, it didn't go anywhere. But
Is there anyone else that wanted to speak in favor? Anyone wanting to speak in opposition? Okay, hearing none. Council's in receipt of all correspondence and emails received pertaining to this matter, and at this time, this public hearing is adjourned. Next, we have, I'd like to call public hearing resolution number 17-R-109 to order. This hearing is being held pursuant to notice published and posted according to law. Julie, please read the title.
A resolution approving with modifications the application of Menor Heights Nursery for placement of farmlands in an agricultural district to wit, approximately 13.54 acres of land located on Chillicothe Road.
Mr. Filipiak?
Mr. Trout, please.
Thank you, Mr. Flipiak. Members of council, the situation is identical to the one you just heard. The only nuance of this, and it's noted in the staff report, is that the trust transferred the property to a slightly different entity, the Wilson Family Properties, LLC, on January 30th of this year. This property and the next application you'll be hearing are immediately adjacent to each other, and therefore activities on them are shared. And in the statistics that were provided with the application, they indicated that 2/3 of the activity takes place on the northern parcel and approximately 1/3 on the southern parcel. But as I said, they are basically managed together. Thank you.
I think they can both be considered at the same time if you want both applications.
Okay.
It is going to be the same individual who has submitted those applications.
Okay, sure. Okay, we'll consider 17-R-110 at the same time.
Do you want to read that?
A resolution approving with modifications the application of Cinda R. Zook, trustee of the Wilson Family Trust for the placement of farmland in the agricultural district to wit, approximately 5.84 acres of land located on Chillicothe Road.
Is there anyone that wanted to speak in favor? Did the applicant want to speak?
The applicant doesn't have to speak if he
Okay.
doesn't want.
Good idea. Very good.
Did you bring a blueberry bush with you?
Okay, is there anyone that wanted to speak in opposition? Okay, hearing none, council's in receipt of all correspondence and emails received pertaining to this matter, and this public hearing is adjourned. Okay, new legislation, ordinance number 17-0-36.
An ordinance to revise the codified ordinances of the City of Menor 2006 as amended by adopting current replacement pages and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Filipiak?
We have no comments on this, Madam President. Perhaps defer to the law director.
This is the typical sweep legislation that you see about 3 or 4 times a year. The state legislature will amend various sections of the traffic code and the general offense code, many of which items then, of course, make us change our code because we parrot those same code sections within our code. And this also takes all of the permanent changes that you have adopted over the past so many months and places them in the green code of ordinances, and also places them online so that persons wanting to know about the various chapters of our code and that want to research what the laws of Mentor can do so, and that's why we've included, for example, the 116.096 animals and fowl. You can go through here and refresh your recollections as to those items that were passed that are of a permanent nature, prohibiting the cultivation, processing, and/or retail dispensing of medical marijuana, et cetera, et cetera. And so this formalizes those changes and places them in the code book and online. I can answer any questions if there are any.
Gentlemen,
Move to suspend.
Second.
please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Dowling?
Yes,
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes,
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
ordinance number 17-0-36 has been approved. Ordinance number 17-0-37.
An ordinance to authorize transfers of funds, advances of funds, and revisions to appropriations, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Filipiak?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Malinowski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak. Members of council, this ordinance authorizes three types of financial transactions. The first being permanent cash transfers out of three funds as noted in the staff memo, the largest being $1.25 million, representing a transfer for our medical self-insurance fund. That's virtually identical to the first quarter claims. There's also a couple transfers out of other funds that cover general obligation bond debt. And then there's one temporary cash advance, $1.2 million, to cover the amount of the amphitheater bond anticipation note that'll be paid off this end of this month. We're going to fund that through the Community Rec Facilities Fund. And finally, two appropriation revisions as noted, the largest being equivalent of one quarter AT&T landline phone bills while we're implementing the new phone system. I'd be happy to answer any questions and recommend approval. Thank you.
Move to suspend.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes,
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes,
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
ordinance number 17-0-37 has been approved. Ordinance number 17-0-38.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to award a bid contract to Great Lakes Crushing Ltd. for the Midland Road Storm Sewer Improvement Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Filipiak?
Thank you, Madam President. We're pleased to be bringing this forward. The administration has been able to work very closely with Ward Councilman Donovan on this project. I think for a couple of years now, we've been trying to work with the residents out there to identify some of the shortcomings in the stormwater system capacity there. So essentially, this is a two-phase project. This is the first phase. We'll be going construction relatively soon, and this will upgrade. Will approximately double the size of the stormwater system that heads down Midland, and the second phase will make a similar improvement on Mentor Avenue. Mr. Swigger?
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak. Midland Road Storm Sewer Improvement Project consists of removing approximately 1,500 linear feet of existing 12-inch clay storm sewer between Mentor Avenue and Crossfield, and replacing it with new 24-inch plastic high-density polyethylene sewer pipe for additional stormwater capacity. In addition, 31 new inlet basins and 11 new manholes will be installed. The new storm sewer main will be located under the pavement on Midland Road. Once installation of the sewer is complete, the roadway will be resurfaced with a new layer of asphalt. The 7 bids received for the project were open on Friday, March 24th. The base bids for storm sewer construction range from a low bid of approximately $515,000 to a high bid of approximately $620,000, as compared to the opinion of probable construction cost of $564,000. Alternate A, which is a full-width mill and fill paving, the bids range from a low bid of $46,700 to a high bid of approximately $55,000. Alternate B, which is water service relocation bids, range from a low bid of approximately $3,000 to a high bid of approximately $33,000. Alternate B was included in the bid to provide Aqua Ohio the option of using the city's contractor to relocate water service connections rather than self-performing the work. However, Aqua has decided to self-perform the work, and therefore alternate B will not be awarded with a contract. The low bidder for the base bid in alternate A is Great Lakes Crushing Limited of Willowick, Ohio. Their bid was found to be in conformance with all contract requirements. Therefore recommended that the contract be awarded to Great Lakes Crushing for the base bid in alternate A in the amount of $562,302. Local traffic and emergency vehicles will be maintained at all times during construction with use of flagmen. However, through traffic may be limited at times. All residents will be given notification by the contractor prior to commencing work, and project completion is specified for September 29th of this year. Thank you.
Council, I would make one other comment on this. So with this enhanced storm capacity, really an upgraded asphalt road on that section of Midland, we're also going to be in that section of the city for our pedestrian safety program and upgrading a lot of the sidewalks. So that Midland area is going to see a lot of tidying up this year. It should be very nice come fall.
Yes, question for the administration. Thank you. Now, I note that it's going from 12 to 24 inches, which is 4 times the carrying capacity. Did I hear that there will be a follow-on project at Menor Avenue?
Yes, there's a section that this leads into, and what is that, Dave, about 800?
It's about 900 feet of sewer. We'll also be increasing the size as a phase 2, probably in 2018.
Between now, with all that extra water going down in that second phase, is there any concern of flooding out at Menor Avenue?
At this point, we feel we will not. We did check the hydraulic grade lines. It's an improvement, especially for Midland. It's a project we do want to follow up with, but we feel that the system can handle it at this time.
Okay.
Phase 2 will likely appear we'll probably be proposing it for next year's budget.
Thank you.
Mr. Donovan.
I want to thank everybody for everything they did on this. I know the residents are going to be very happy. I believe the original sewer is when the original street went in, and it's 6 to 8 inches, and it's way too small for the neighborhood. And I appreciate what council did and the administration and Dave on his engineering and all that. Appreciate it, and I know they're going to appreciate it. Thank you so much. The street's going to look so much better, and the water's going to flow out of there, which is a good thing. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Second?
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Ordinance number 17-0-38 has been approved. Ordinance number 17-0-39.
An ordinance authorizing pay differential to a city employee assigned to active military duty and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Filipiak.
Thank you, Madam President. And Council will remember that Patrolman Shaw was recently in chambers here receiving an award on some heroic actions he took helping someone escape from a burning fire not long ago. It turns out he's pretty heroic much of the time. So he's about to begin his 6th tour of duty. Is that right, Chief? So we will be asking Council to extend the same courtesy we have for all of our employees who have found themselves on active duty to ensure that they will continue to receive compensation equivalent to what they would be receiving as a city employee were they not on active duty.
Absolutely move to suspend.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Ordinance number 17-0-39 has been approved. Ordinance number 16.
No, it's supposed to be.
Okay. Ordinance number 17-0-40.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with PennCare, Inc. for the purchase of one 2017 Braun Ambulance Super Chief XL ambulance on an international chassis and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Filipiak.
Thank you, Madam President. This is for a replacement for the primary rescue squad at Station Number 3. Chief Searles, please.
Thank you, Mr. Flipak, members of council. As you know, in the 2017 budget, we put money aside for a new rescue squad at Fire Station 3. We also put a committee together to look at rescue squads that would best service our community's need. And the committee unanimously determined that a 2017 Braun Super Chief XL ambulance with an international chassis would be best. The recommendation is based on cost and safety and the fact that that's been the squad that we've been using for a number of years and it's been very reliable. So it's my recommendation that we purchase a new Braun rescue squad from Braun Industries in Van Wert, Ohio. And it's managed by Pencare Incorporated. It is on state bid pricing, and they are honoring state bid pricing with the required options that we need. The purchase price of the ambulance is $279,418, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Gentlemen?
Madam President, Chief, since this came up, I've been looking at all of our squads, and is a Super Chief, once we replace this one, are they all going to be Super Chief now?
It's a little bigger. It allows some room for patient movement and our medics in the back. So, yes, that will be our recommendation to go to Super Chief.
And this one, too, will have the striker cot lift?
It will.
It saves on
and that's about a $45,000 option. The striker cot and the loading system's part of the squad. It's a cot that is a power assist cot that assists in the lifting of the patients, and it's been proven to reduce back injuries, and it's a good option to have.
And I know that these get a lot of road time. They work a lot.
We're busy.
And they always seem to be there. I don't see them ever not poking out of the front of the garages, so I have a feeling that they hold up very well, too. How many miles do these usually get per year?
This will be replacing a squad that, when it goes out of service, will have about 175,000 miles on it. And part of that is a credit to our mechanics. We used to buy a cheaper squad, an older squad, and we were seeing about a 75 to 80,000 mile life. If you remember, that's a squad that we donated to East Cleveland not long ago, and it only had about 75,000 miles.
And that one's still on the road there.
Barely.
I saw it a few weeks ago. So tremendous. I know these are expensive, but it's a great investment because they last a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Martin.
I just appreciate that you came $6,500 under budget.
Yeah.
You guys make sure. Keep your hands on that $6,500.
Madam President,
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
I want to know how you got it named after you, the Braun Super Chief. How did you do that?
That's a tough one.
Move to suspend.
Second. Thank you.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
To approve.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Ordinance number 17-0-40 has been approved. Resolution number 17-R-108.
A resolution approving with modifications the application of Deborah L. Quivola for the placement of farmland in an agricultural district, to wit, approximately 35.80 acres of land located on Lakeshore Boulevard.
Move to suspend.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Resolution number 17-R-108 has been adopted. Resolution number 17-R-109.
A resolution approving with modifications the application of Menor Heights Nursery for placement of farmlands in an agricultural district, to wit, approximately 13.54 acres of land located on Chillicothe Road.
Move to suspend.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan? Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Move to approve.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Resolution number 17-R-109 has been adopted. Resolution number 17-R-110.
A resolution approving with modifications the application of Cinda R. Zook, trustee of the Wilson Family Trust, for the placement of farmland in an agricultural district, to wit, approximately 5.84 acres of land located on Chillicothe Road.
Move to suspend.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Move
Yes.
to approve.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Resolution number 17-R-110 has been adopted. Resolution number 17-R-111.
A resolution adopting the Lake County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan for the City of Mentor.
Did you want to comment?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Council, Madam President. The Lake County Hazard Mitigation Plan is updated approximately every 5 years. The purpose of the plan is to simply identify all those potential hazards that could occur and to plan for them essentially through coordination of our various jurisdictions within the county and also with those state and federal agencies that we interact with. There isn't a great deal of changes from the last 5-year plan that was adopted. However, it's important to understand that in order for Lake County to remain eligible for federal disaster mitigation funding, it is necessary for each jurisdiction within the county to adopt this. This plan is on file in its entirety with the council clerk, which is also so it is also available to the public for their review should they choose to take advantage of that.
Madam President, just one.
Yes, Mr.
Has the
Krieger.
county already approved theirs? I noticed that each municipality
Chief, I
and
think
county.
has the county acted on this yet?
I believe that was approved in March. I still don't have a hard copy of it, but I believe they took formal action in March.
Okay, thank you.
Move to suspend.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Resolution number 17-R-111 has been adopted. Resolution number 17-R-112.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to participate in Ohio Department of Transportation's winter contract 018-18 for road salt and declaring an emergency.
I can't believe we're discussing road salt.
It's
Mr.
much-
Filipiak.
Thank you, Madam President. It's much nicer to discuss it in 70-degree weather, though. Mr. Schweiker, please.
Thank you. The Ohio Revised Code allows political subdivisions to participate in contracts of ODOT for the purchase of machinery, materials, supplies, and in this case, rock salt. The attached resolution and participation agreement allows the city to purchase rock salt during the 17-18 winter season under this ODOT contract. Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes.
how did we do on salt this year? Do we have a lot left over? It seemed like it was a pretty light year.
We have about, by the time we're finishing up purchasing under our current contract, and we'll have about 4,000 tons.
Okay. So then we just have to fill up the bins for whenever that comes again.
Right.
All right.
Running out isn't an option, so.
No. No.
Move to suspend.
Second.
Here, wait.
That's all right.
That's, excuse me.
Mr. Mark.
Well, what price did we pay last year? It was about the same?
$32.56 was the current contract.
What about the previous contract?
I think it was in the low 40s.
Okay.
The 32 price was really very low.
Right. And that was after the whole rock salt problem that
Yes.
several communities face. Okay, just wanted to make sure that, okay, thank you.
We have a motion second.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Resolution number 17-R-112 has been adopted. Second readings, we have none. Third readings, we have none. Managers report.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to offer congratulations to one of our dispatchers, communications technician Tori Hendricks, who has recently received the 2016 Solid Gold Award and was one of 2 finalists for the 2016 Telecommunicator of the Year Award for all of Ohio. These are competitive categories of awards that are voted on by the Ohio chapter of the Association of Professional Communications Officers and the National Emergency Number Association. And this award was as a result of her actions back in January of last year when she helped talk a woman whose husband was undergoing a cardiac arrest through with a CPR procedure and ultimately saved his life. So she didn't win out, but she was one of the 2 best in Ohio, so we're very proud of her and her accomplishments. The Mentor Fire Department has posted a simple survey on their Facebook page asking residents, businesses, and visitors to give us their feedback to ensure that we are delivering the highest level of services possible and any recommendations for improvement. And a couple of comments worth noting in engineering. Our 2017 road program has officially gotten underway. A&J Cement and Chagrin Valley Paving have began concrete removal and replacement and asphalt milling on just this past Monday. Letters were sent out to all residents on affected streets prior to the work commencing, and we'll actually see some paving, asphalt paving on Atkins Road tomorrow. So all work is expected to be completed well in advance of the August 18th deadline. And some good news on the traffic signals. We have ordered the decorative traffic signal poles for Heisley Road. It's about 14 weeks out, but in that interim time, we expect that the pole foundations, the traffic controller, the underground conduit, and all the associated work that has to be done with that will take place so that pole installation can occur sometime in August with operation in September. So the weather will still be warm while we see that signal in operation with any luck.
Hooray.
Good news.
Thank you.
The Mentor Area Chamber of Commerce presents an evening of great food from some of the Mentor area's best restaurants and caterers. The Taste of Mentor is taking place tomorrow, Wednesday, April 19th, from 5 to 8 p.m. right here at the Mentor Ice Arena. For tickets, where you can go to the Taste of Mentor 2017.eventbrite.com. And Mr. Kaminsky, how many restaurant exhibitors do we have this year so far?
Currently, there's 21 scheduled.
21, so you won't go home. You won't go home hungry for sure. The Ignite the Ice end of season party is this weekend. Come and celebrate at the last Ignite the Ice of the spring skating season. The DJ will play all your favorite tunes, and there will be games and fun. Admission is $5 with a $3 skate rental. And Blackbrook is holding a free golf clinic and open house on Sunday, April 23rd, from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This event is open to golfers of all ages and abilities, and that'll be led by our own PGA professional, Tim Osbark. Registration is required by calling 440-951-0010. Great way to start the season with a tune-up or that first free lesson if you're going to get started. So we encourage everyone to participate. That's all.
Madam President, if I could.
Yes, Mr. Blake.
Can I see that the full depth repairs have been done on the bad spots in Hopkins, and it's a lot nicer road now. It's a lot smoother. But I think at some point down the line, like a resurface would be in order, because I got a feeling that those spots being repaired, other ones in between them are going to start to become a problem. So as we go down the line, I'd like to look at Hopkins being fully redone within the next year or two. But thank you. Thank you for those full depth repairs. It's a lot nicer, a lot smoother. And I don't know if Councilman Kirchner has ridden his bicycle down. Because most of those repairs were done on the side there. So, when Ray gets a chance to ride down, I hope he lets me know what he thinks. Thank you.
That's it? Okay. Clerk's correspondence?
Nothing to report.
Commission committee reports. Council's in receipt of the meeting minutes of the Board of Building and Zoning Appeals, March 14th, 2017, the Tree Commission, March 15th, 2017, and the Municipal Planning Commission, March 23rd, 2017. Old business. Okay. New business.
Madam President,
Yes.
did you want to go first?
No.
Okay. Couple things I have. First of all, I have a question. I got a call from residents. Are there any prohibitions on the placing of satellite dishes in the residential district that we know of? The reason I ask is I guess someone put one in the middle of their front yard, and I had a neighbor that someone called and says, "Is there any?"
Well, Mr. Kirschner, unless you have a definitive answer on that, Mr. Traub, I can tell you that most communities have adopted them in the past, but really with the change in technology, it's been a long time since we've seen a big, obtrusive one. So I would have to, unless, Ron, did you have any thoughts on that?
I was just going to ask the councilman to provide us with an address, and we'll verify.
This isn't one like, one of the old-fashioned ones. This is the kind you
Just
put up
where
on the top
where
of the
they
house,
placed it.
pointing southwest or somebody.
Probably not.
Mr.
Probably
Piat?
not.
Mr. Rose?
Madam President, I think Andy...
Madam President, if good.
Good evening, members of council. The FCC has a requirement that every dish under 36 inches round is exempt from local ordinances. That ruling has been confirmed by our zoning attorney and also by our planning administrator. So we cannot restrict the placement of any satellite antenna that is under 36 inches, which includes those like DirecTV and Dish Network and those types. So 36 inches is the litmus test, sir.
That's what I thought.
Diameter. 36 inches round.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rose.
Okay, and the second thing I have is more on the positive note, in that I'd like to make a motion that we submit the name of Mentor resident Mark Freeman to the county commissioners for the vacant seat, newly created seat on the Lake County Port Authority.
Second.
Did we have any other nominations? Okay, hearing none. Please call the roll.
Mr. Landry.
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other new business, gentlemen?
Congratulations, Mr. Freeman.
Yes, definitely. He'll be a wonderful representative for us.
You know, almost forgot about that. It'd be kind of hard. Okay. Mrs. President, Mr. Vice President, and other members of council, I'd like to formally move that we cancel the May 2nd, 2017 meeting
Second.
due to unforeseen circumstances where members will be bringing back economic development to the city of Mentor.
Definitely. Okay, please call the roll.
Mr. Landing?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Okay. Any other new business?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Blake.
I'd just like to wish safe travels to Ken and Ray and Mercedes as they head over to Europe for our trade initiative. Wish them the best of luck, and I'm sure that we'll be tracking them via Facebook and other ways.
And I'd add to that and the company from Mentor that's going there with us to join with a German company I think will be a good working relationship between the two of them going forward. So paying dividends. So
We look forward to your return, but
yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. It's a grind sometimes. And
Wish
on
you
that note,
success.
if there's no other new business, I will move to adjourn so I go home and pack.
Second.
No persons before council, so that's fine.